Diana Burgess loved her job. She was a flight nurse and traveled around the world transporting patients. But on a crystal clear day landing in Lexington, Kentucky, something went terribly wrong.
I heard him say, "No brakes, no brakes." I didn't panic at that point because I knew we had that backup system, which is called the reverse thrusters. And I watched him pull back on that and nothing. And then I was getting more terrified. By the second, I was very much aware that we were crashing.
Did you ever think that the end was near? I mean, did you say, this is it?
You know, I never said this is it, but I knew the severity of the situation, how dire it was, because I was trying to do things so quickly.
This is the end of the runway in Lexington, Kentucky. And this is Versailles Road, a major thoroughfare. Diana's plane careened off that 60-foot cliff and came across 6 lanes of traffic going 200 miles an hour on a Friday afternoon. The traffic light 100 yards in front of me and the one behind me were both red, stopping traffic. They didn't hit a single car.
Diana quickly realized that the 4 other people in the plane were either dead or unconscious, except her co-pilot, Jimmy.
At that point, I was smelling smoke, and I knew we were on fire. I could smell it. I could hear that crackling sound. And I cried out to Jimmy, "Are you okay? Jimmy, are you okay?" And he said, "No, Di." He said, "My back broke," because when we dropped that 60 feet, his back just snapped.
It was up to Diana to open the door of the tiny jet.
No, I couldn't do it. I couldn't stand up, Dory, and I didn't know why. I tried with all my might to stand up twice. What I didn't realize was that on that impact, my knees buckled backwards. They dislocated backwards, and I had no connection between my lower and my upper leg bones, so I couldn't stand.
Diana's pilot regained consciousness and opened the door. People who had been stopped at the red light ran towards the burning plane to help. Airport rescue teams arrived within minutes. The only one that died on impact was her patient. But Diana was in danger of dying herself and didn't know it.
But I had the wherewithal with me to ask a woman if I could use her cell phone. Her name was Chris, and she had come to my aid and actually was praying over me so I could call my husband. I really did not know how serious it was.
So you call your husband, said, "I've been in an accident, I've broken my legs, but I'm okay."
But I'm okay.
But Chris took the phone back. What did she say?
She took the phone, and my husband told me that she said, "No, she's not okay. This is not good." And she at that point saw that my toes were pointing opposite of the rest of my body.
Your feet were turned around?
Correct. There was no connection between my lower leg bones and my upper leg bones.
Diana was assessed to be the most critical of all the survivors and was transported from the scene by air first. In addition to massive leg injuries, Diana had broken her back. She had a punctured lung, she was hemorrhaging, had a temperature of 104, and her kidneys were failing. Diana was transported here to the University of Kentucky Medical Center. It houses a Level 1 trauma center, which means it's the highest category available to trauma victims. She had a 5% chance of surviving those first critical hours, and she did, only to be told she was headed into surgery and might lose her legs.
I was horrified. I was scared to death. And I was somewhat ashamed because all my life I have not been happy with my legs. I have very muscular legs. I have my father's legs. And I just thought it was really ironic that the very thing that I wasn't very appreciative of, I might lose. And so I said, "Oh, dear God, I know I've complained about them, but I don't want to lose them." And I was really afraid.
Just then, her son got through on the phone.
And he said something amazing. He said, "Mom, listen, we're praying for you." And he said, "The prayer chain at church has started. People are praying for you. You're going to make it. You're going to be okay." And literally, I felt this warmth come over my body. And it's the peace that passes all understanding. And at that point, I really believed I was going to make it through surgery. And prior to that point, I wasn't sure.
The surgeons were able to save her legs, and she spent 2.5 weeks in Kentucky getting stronger every day. But Diana had a long road ahead. Her therapist back home in Tampa gave her heads up. He told you something that had to have been tough. He said, "You are going to face